Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit more about me. So it's going to be your questions, my answers. A week or so ago I actually posted a question asking you to, well actually it said, please let me know your questions below for a chance to be mentioned in my video, and it's a Q&A video coming soon. So that was posted on my Instagram, and yes, you didn't let me down. There's quite a number of questions here. So what I'm going to do is go down the list and answer as many as I possibly can. So the first one is by fawnxbaby, favourite foundation. My favourite foundation used to be the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Foundation. It's changed. I wore that one for such a long time. It was an absolute staple, but it's now changed to Revolution, the Conceal and Define Foundation in not C4. F4. Yeah, so it's the Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation in F4. I love it. It's now what I have been wearing, well, ever since I shared with you the video. I have not worn any other foundation. I love it. I was looking for a foundation that had more of a matte finish but also has a little bit of a sheen. I have very oily skin, but even though I've got oily skin, obviously I don't want it to look too oily, but I don't want to look too matte either. And that's my difficulty for finding a foundation, hence why I've only got two favourites. But yeah, Revolution released this recently. I haven't used anything else. It's also inexpensive and it is readily available, and hopefully I'll be able to stock up on it when it's on its 3 for 2 at Superdrug. So Perfect Manda 1987, tips on applying eyeliner. I struggle so much. I've just tried out Primark's under eye patches to catch the fallout from eyeshadow, and they have made a real difference, but I haven't had the guts to try it with a black liner yet. Eyeliner is a tricky one, and what I generally do is to, and I've also done a video on this, because I find it difficult, because when you get older as well, your skin is a little bit more, I suppose, not as firm as it was perhaps in your 20s. So on my eyes, I've got a little bit of hoodedness, and if I try and do a flick, it catches. So I have to be very, very careful. What I found is that I'll do the line, and I always have to do it halfway across. If I do a full line on my lash line, it just looks too much. So I suppose my advice would be to find what works for your eye shape, and when you're doing that flick, perhaps and I said this actually in a video, is to, when you do that flick, try and aim for the tip of your brow, because that will then give you a little bit of a guide. And what I do is I just do a little flick. So you don't necessarily have to do these big flicks. You could just do a little flick until then you've gained your confidence, and then you can go bigger and bolder if that's what you want to do. But I struggle as well. It just depends on your eye shape, and this is the thing with all fashion. You know, these fashionable, you know, clothing or makeup or whatever it is that's in fashion at that particular, or in vogue at that particular time, doesn't necessarily suit everybody. So I suppose it's just trying to find the way that it works for you. Kazia_K, how did it happen that you started your own YouTube channel? YouTube was encouraged by my children. I was made redundant a few years back, and yeah, I then decided, or my children actually encouraged me, because I'd always loved makeup, always you know, had quite a bit of a makeup collection. And yeah, they encouraged me and said, you know, you can do that, Mum. You've got the knowledge, you've got the products, you've got the interest. You can certainly do it. What I will say is that when I was at work, there was a brand that we dealt with as a company, and that brand, the owner of that brand, asked me to do a video for his website, and I did. I was filmed by a professional cameraman, and with everybody watching, so the whole room. I worked in a big office, so all of my colleagues plus other people came down from other departments to watch me do this video. Plus I had the owner there prompting me with what to say. I obviously had a sheet you know, prompting me what he wanted me to say as well, and a script I should say, and I had the cameraman as well. So I suppose not only was it my children, but it was that experience that really helped me to think, you know, I can do that. So yeah, the two experiences put together, and the fact that I absolutely love makeup. And I would also mention one thing: I don't think if it wasn't for Revolution I probably wouldn't have done it, because that brand is just phenomenal. Yeah, so I think my children encouraging me, and my husband of course, also, you know, being filmed professionally for a video that is still on that particular website, which I'm not going to mention, and even if I'm asked, I will not mention who it was for or where you can find it. It's just something that I wanted to mention, and let you know why. And also the brand Revolution. Those three things have really helped me or encouraged me to then do my own YouTube channel. I also had another question, vixtergramm. So the same question by this person, but obviously I've just answered that. So vixtergramm asked another question: have you always had a huge love of makeup, or is it something that has become that over time? I would say that I've always loved makeup. Ever since I was a teenager in the 80s, I've loved makeup. I've loved wearing it. Didn't necessarily wear as much as I wear now. I have a full face of makeup now. My brows were perfect back then as well. And I've mentioned that I also over plucked. So that's why I wear the brows, you know, that I do. But yeah, I always wore electric blue eyeliner or black, and electric blue mascara, and a lipstick, probably frosted pink, and if I had to wear eyeshadow that would probably be frosted as well. So the 80s were very bright, very vibrant. Everything seemed to be a party when I look back on it. I wore you know, party clothes for sorry, I've got low power. Party clothes for every day. I think in the 1980s every single day was a party, and the atmosphere was like that as well. Everybody seemed really friendly, really lovely, and yeah, I have real fond memories of the 1980s. Vixtergramm also asked me if a company wanted to collaborate with you, which one product would you create? It would have to be an eyeshadow palette. I am obsessed with eyeshadow. Simona Joy 2014, if you had to do a complete makeup look using only one brand, which one would you pick up and why? And then she said probably is going to be Makeup Revolution, as I know you really like the brand. Can you tell me an alternative? Well, I can. Now, of course, yes, it would be Revolution, but I also love Morphe as well for the same reasons. I do have quite a low boredom threshold, so I like the fact that those two brands bring out or they've released products, let me get my words out correctly, release new products on a, well, with Revolution it's a weekly basis, with Morphe it's a little bit less, but I like that. Obviously you can pick and choose which products you would like to purchase, you don't necessarily have to purchase every single one, but I just like the variety. And you know, like I say, I do have a very, as my family know, a very low boredom threshold, especially for clothing, makeup and things like that. I like new things and I like trying out new things as well. So yeah, it would have to be Morphe. Okay, this is a question that has been asked a lot. How old are you? Now, obviously I'm going to be of a certain age, aren't I? Because I've got a son that is nearly 30 and I've got a handful, probably more than a handful now, of grandchildren. But yes, you can guess a little bit because I mentioned the fact that I was a teenager in the 80s. So I am actually 48 years old, coming up to 49 at the tail end of this year. But yeah, that is how old I am. I am 48. And that was asked by Festomanka. Deba.but, how did you lose the weight? Obviously I've just released a video explaining how I lost my weight, but I did it by eating less, eating healthily and exercise. That is how I did it, just the old-fashioned way really. I don't weigh myself. I tend to, and I'm wearing a jumper from last year. It's absolutely beautiful from Next with all pearls on the bottom of it. And I'm really disappointed that it just drowns me now, and that's how I know that I'm losing weight, by the fact that my clothes that I previously wore look way too big for me. Vixtergramm again, how old are your daughters and how do they feel about your YouTube channel? My two daughters are my two middle children, so I've got an older son and a younger son, and in the middle are my two girls, and my oldest Jasmine is my daughter that got married. She's 26, and my younger daughter Ebony, that I've actually featured in a video on here, she is actually 22, and they all love me doing YouTube. My oldest daughter Jasmine puts me on the big screen so my grandchildren can watch me, and my daughter Ebony loves it. They love it as well. They are always asking me for advice. Is there something new that you know, new makeup, what do I suggest, and things like that, because obviously I know their skin type, I know what would work for them. I did their prom makeup, I did their prom hair, because obviously I'm also interested in hair too, so I did all of that for them. And obviously, as my children, they trust what mum says basically. So the next one is RockChick48, and obviously I'm speeding through these, so I apologise, but there is a lot of questions. So RockChick48, out of all of the makeup that you own, which one is your favourite product and why? My goodness, that is a hard one. But one that I keep returning to at the moment, I'm talking about eyeshadow palette, because I think eyeshadow is my one obsession. That and lipstick, but I would say eyeshadow, I would have to say that it is the Revolution Pro Supreme Eyeshadow Palette in Unleashed. Whenever I wear that, I get so many compliments, and I just love the looks that I can create with that one. From the same person, so RockChick48, if Revolution asked you to collab, what makeup product would you choose to create and why? It would have to be, as I've just mentioned, eyeshadow, because I'm just obsessed by it. I have got ideas in my head for collaborations, what I would love to do, what colours I would love to put together. I am just a lover of colours and putting them together. I'm quite a creative person, and yeah, I just absolutely love it. So it would have to be eyeshadow. Another one from XX Eddie K Reap XX, and I hope I'm saying these correctly. Apology if if I'm mispronouncing things. Another, how old are you and how many children do I have, and what's my skincare routine? What one piece of advice would you tell your younger self? This is a really good one actually, because obviously I've said that I'm 48. I have 4 children. My skincare routine, I don't necessarily choose expensive products. It is inexpensive products that I use. I'm now using Garnier skincare. Skincare, sorry, I thought I'd pronounced it wrong. And what one piece of advice would you tell your younger self if you could go back in time? Well, I think when I was a teenager, I was quite impatient. I wanted things to happen, and I think I've only just really conquered that. So yeah, patience. In fact, my oldest grandson, he's only 8, but my oldest grandson, he, whenever I say patience, because I do mention that a lot, he will then say patience is a virtue, because that is what his grandmother says. So I suppose, yeah, I have learned to be a much more patient person than I was when I was younger, and things do work themselves out generally, and yeah, patience. Megan_May with 2 Ys. If a brand wanted to collab with you, which brand would you hope it was? Love your channel. Well, thank you very much. It would have to be Revolution. I've mentioned this before, but I have contacted a number of companies, obviously, you know, sending my picture of me using perhaps their brand, you know, or I've contacted them to ask them a question and things like that, which I do with Revolution quite regularly on your behalf. And I've done that obviously with other makeup companies, and Revolution is the only one that has ever come back to me. So yeah, I would have to say Revolution. Right, let's have a look. WWANNIE59. Do you wear makeup every day even if you don't go out? Love, Bev. I certainly do, Bev. I wear makeup nearly every single day. Obviously it's quite difficult because I do YouTube videos every day apart from Sunday, apart from this week. Obviously I miss Saturday, but yeah, I generally wear makeup every single day, and I suppose even when I'm not doing YouTube, I like to wear makeup. It makes me feel good, and it makes me feel better equipped to face the world, I would say. So yeah, it gives me confidence. So Deborah.N.Johnson, at what age did you start wearing makeup, and was that when you started loving it, or was that at a later date? I started wearing makeup in my mid-teens, so around about 14, 15, and I had always been interested in makeup, but it wasn't really until Revolution came along that I was really obsessed with makeup. I've always really loved makeup and I've always worn it, apart from my 20s when I had my 4 children, obviously, because I was too busy. But yeah, I've always loved it, always been interested in it, always loved products, but Revolution really brought out that in me because their products are so affordable, and I suppose they are one of the first brands that I could purchase a lot from. It used to be the thing that you purchased one lipstick, one eyeshadow, one blush, but when Revolution came along, it was a haul of makeup, especially in the UK. I know in the US you've got ELF and makeup brands like that, but here in the UK, I suppose Revolution revolutionised the makeup world for the fact that you could bulk buy, and it still was good quality, but not, you know, you weren't out of pocket. So yeah, it was definitely, I've been obsessed with makeup probably for the last, in fact it was probably a little bit before Revolution, but Revolution then really got me obsessed with bulk buying, I suppose, or hauls of makeup. But yeah, I've always loved makeup. So Julie Silk Shaw, hi Samantha, I've got quite a number of questions here, but my question, or I should say Julie's, and I hope that's your name, questions is my birthday. Obviously I've mentioned that I'm 48. Do you like to read? I love to read. In fact, when I was younger, I read constantly, but now I'm older, I do have issues with my eyes, and I do wear glasses a lot of the time for reading, and I do find that if I read too much, I get terrible eye strain, so I don't read as much as I used to. But if I have to say a favourite author, it would have to be Agatha Christie. I am obsessed with murder mystery, whether it is fictional or whether it is, you know, true life. So I'm obsessed with it, but I also love the fact that there's a murder, there's a mystery to that murder, that, you know, it's a puzzle, and can I work it out by the end? So I love Agatha Christie. I think her stories are absolutely phenomenal. Love it. What does my family say about you making YouTube videos? Well, they absolutely love it. They're very proud of their mum and their wife, and yeah, I suppose without them, without their support, I couldn't really have, you know, I wouldn't have started it. And I, especially from my husband, he is absolutely phenomenal. He's just the best supporter. He supports everything I do with YouTube. He supports the fact that I purchase a lot of makeup. I know, and you've mentioned it to me, a lot of you actually, that your husband doesn't want you to purchase such and such, and I'm a bad influence. I do apologise about that. But my husband, he's over that, and to him I suppose it's you know, it is, He's very proud of me. I've had to get over a lot of issues, i.e. anxiety, and YouTube has really helped me. So what's another eyeshadow palette when, you know, it has helped me in such a way? And I suppose that is another thing that I've got to thank Revolution for, because I don't want to get too deep about it, but Revolution really has helped me as a brand. They've you know, even on my darkest most difficult days, I've had Revolution to you know, take my mind off it. My thoughts have been on makeup and something else, rather than, you know, the fact that I'm feeling very, very anxious. And as I mentioned in a previous video, if you have anxiety, if you suffer from it, then I really, really do feel for you, because it is not a very nice thing. So yeah, my family love me doing YouTube. They really support me, and yeah, without them, I suppose I couldn't have done it. Okay, I'm just seeing anything else. Can I cook? Yes, I can cook. I can cook, but cooking is not something that I really enjoy. You know, it's a means to an end. I can do it if I really want to, but I don't know. I have to be in the mood to cook. I love anything Italian. This is from the same person, Julie Silk Shaw. Yeah, I think that's all of the questions that I can possibly answer today. I'll probably have to do another question and answer video, but yeah, I think I've answered nearly all of those questions. There are a few, especially from the last person, Julie Silk Shaw. She did mention a number, and I really love that. I just want to say a big thank you to anyone that obviously sent me a question. Obviously without your questions I couldn't have done this video, so I really do appreciate that. Obviously I just want to also take this opportunity to let me just start again. I'm trying to speak too fast. I just want to also take this opportunity to thank anyone that has subscribed to my channel. I am so appreciative, so grateful for anyone that has you know, subscribed, watched, commented. It makes my day to receive your comments. So, and I've mentioned obviously the anxiety issue, but you know, and I've said it before, you know, your lovely comments really have inspired me to and Revolution of course have inspired me to do more. And I think Revolution has really pushed my comfort zone. I haven't I'm not on any medication. Whatever I do, it's all down to me. And yes, I do have bad days, but your comments, your support really do spur me on to, you know, to live my life basically. So yeah, YouTube has been absolutely brilliant for me. So has Revolution, for the reasons obviously that I've already stated in this video. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you personally. Thank you so much. Obviously I would love your feedback today on anything that I've mentioned. I would also love it if you've just stumbled across my channel to subscribe, because I am nearly there. I'm nearly at my 10,000 subscriber goal. But of course, until tomorrow, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.